It's hard for all of us to admit when we're wrong. You know why? Because pride. The pride of life. You know, that John spoke about over there in one of his little letters. He said the lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. You remember that? These are bad things. And the one that loves the world will try to hold on to himself. He does not want to deny himself in any way. And just plain simple, it makes you look bad if you believe or think or act on something that is actually wrong. Because we all want to be right? We want to appear to be perfect as much as possible. And so that's kind of the way I want to talk for a few videos anyway. And these things are good for us because we're not disciples of ourselves. We're disciples of Christ, right? And whatever it takes, we want to be like Him. But you remember in John 8:31, He says something like, He said, if you abide in me. And He's speaking to those who believed in Him. He's at the temple. It's Feast of Sukkot, or Feast of Tabernacles, and 6 months from now, He's going to die. And so He ain't got no time to waste. So He seems to be ramping up the conflict between Him and those who are opposing Him. And He makes a statement. He says, if you abide in me, or excuse me, if you abide or continue or live on in my word, He said to them, you are my disciples. You're my disciples. Now He's saying this to some Israelites in the treasury right there. They're at the temple. And He's saying it in front of a bunch of Pharisees who claim to be the teachers of the Word. They've got it down pat. They are the ones that everybody's supposed to listen to. And He says, I want you, or if you abide or continue in my word, then you are my disciples indeed. And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Now, He's saying this to Israelites in front of their teachers. He's basically, what's He trying to do? Steal some sheep, right? He wants, but He's not really stealing. He's taking what belongs to Him anyway. And He's letting them know, you need to continue in my word, because their word is not my word. They had corrupted His word. They had stolen the sheep. At any rate, boy, Jesus really knew how to stir the pudding, didn't He? And then the Pharisee says, prior to that, they had asked him, who are you? Who do you think you are? Who are you? And you know, he spoke back to him. He said, I'm exactly what I have been saying to you from the beginning. Way back when. I mean, they sent people out to John the Baptist to ask him who he was. They didn't like anybody conflicting with them, stepping on their toes and taking their sheep away that they had stolen. At any rate, he says, in verse 25, the learned ones who asked Him, who are you? Don't you think they should have known? I mean, these are people that should have known. And then later he says, if you continue in my word, then you're my disciples. And the Pharisees went immediately to their credentials and who they are. I mean, you know, that's what somebody who's standing in false doctrine and false teaching will always do. They're like, I know what I'm talking about. Who is this guy who is not learned at all? I mean, what does he know? We know something. We know something. And if you're that person, there's not much humility in you if you can't admit that you're wrong. And we need to be able to do that all the time. They should have known who He was. They should have known from the beginning who He was. He proved Himself through signs. He proved Himself through the witness of men. He proved himself through the witness of the Word. He proved himself through the witness of John the Baptist. He proved himself through the witness of the Father, through the works that he was doing. But they immediately went to their, their credentials, their heritage. They said, we are Abraham's descendants. Look at my credentials, you know. Who are you? They didn't know anything, did they? They went to their diplomas. They went to, so, you know, we know stuff. We know something. Excuse my little cough here.